Hello, welcome back to PlayStation Live at E3 2018. I'm Rob Pearson. Joining us on stage, we have John Garvin, Jeff Ross, and Chris Reese from Bend Studio. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Absolute pleasure to have you with us. Also on the sofa, we've got Ramon Russell, and we have got playable Days Gone. The first thing I want to ask you is the Pacific Northwest. Why did you choose that as a setting?
Dude, it's really not. It's more about the high desert than the Pacific Northwest. So, for those of you who don't know, Eastern Oregon, which is like 90% of the state, is high desert, and that really means extreme weather, extreme terrain, and a lot of variety, density in a very, very small space.
Fantastic. Can we have a little play of the game here? Have we got it going?
Just a little bit of loading.
Still loading, okay.
So the demo we're going to play for you today is called You Got a Death Wish, and it's one of the things we really want to show off is how it kind of tries to marry a linear narrative experience in a dynamic open world. So it's a combination of the two things. So at Bend Studio, we've always done narrative-driven games, and we're really excited to be able to bring the production values. You can see we have really powerful cutscenes, and then it goes into gameplay in a way that sets up the open world.
Awesome.
It's awesome.
And what can you tell us about our main character, Deacon St. John? Like, what was the inspiration behind this character?
Well, a few things. He's broken. So you saw from a couple of trailers that we've released that he's lost someone and it's scarred him in a way. And it's like Jeff would like to say, everybody loses people, in these kinds of end of the world scenarios. So what's particular about Deacon though is that he was an ex-member of an outlaw motorcycle club. And therefore, he has a love of the open road. He has a love of motorcycles.
Yeah.
There's a sense of brotherhood, and you can see that here in these scenes with him and his best friend, Boozer. And so it was that combination that really sort of drew us to this particular character.
Right, we're going to continue to learn about him as you're playing the game, correct? About him and his backstory and why he is the way he is.
I mean, the bike is very important, right, as well? Like,
yeah, we almost consider the bike to be another character.
Yeah.
Because you only get one, and you're constantly upgrading it. You're constantly trying to repair it. You need to keep it refueled, and if you lose it, you got to go find it, and you can't whistle for a new one. So
you can't whistle,
right? Like a horse.
Yeah, the refueling mechanic is a huge game design choice. I really, really like that. Can you talk more about how important it's going to be able to find fuel?
Sorry.
So the refueling mechanic, and actually, you have to find gas to keep your bike going. It's a mechanic we haven't really seen done to this extent before. Can you talk more about that and how it changes the gameplay?
Well, like in this demo, one of the things that Jeff's taking the run and gun approach. So we like to call it sandbox combat. So basically what you can do is you can run and gun, you can stealth your way through, and your goal here is to get and find a bike part, right? So you're here actually for kind of a trivial reason. You've risked your friend's life to come and get a part for your bike. And so that shows a little bit about Deacon's character. But then as you watch Jeff play through this wide linear sequence, he can play it 100 different ways. And if you watch other people play, you'll see that, okay, they didn't take this route. They didn't stop and check the trunk of this police car. And those are kind of like our treasure chests throughout the world. So you're always on the lookout for those because that's how you're going to find ammo and health kits. And then you're seeing one of our stealth mechanics here. If you're quiet, if you crouch walk and you walk up behind an enemy, then you have the opportunity for a stealth takedown.
And what can you tell us about the Freakers? Because they're quite unique. I mean, we've seen, a fair few undead enemies in video games before. What makes the Freakers unique, and what was your decision-making behind making them the way they are?
They're alive.
They're alive.
Yeah, they're not zombies. They're alive. And so that sounds trivial, but it's not, because it basically means we have a full day-night cycle in the game.
Right.
And they have things that they do. There's an ecosystem, and they have to eat, they have to drink, they have to hibernate. And so you will find them, like in this scenario, you'll see that there's some nests, and Freakers build nests for reasons you discover while you're playing the game. And then you can take those nest zones out in order to free up fast travel routes. So it becomes part of the metagame. But Freakers are evolving. They're living creatures who have been affected by this virus, and there's several different types. And some of our trailers you've seen, we've shown the Screamer, which is a female that can have sort of alarm system that will bring in more Freakers. We have the infected bear, so it infects animals. In our last trailer, we showed
Mountain
crows,
lion and the crows.
right? So you have so so it's just it's a wide variety of challenges for the player, and like we said, the world comes for you, and that's part of it. Is that these creatures are always after you, and at night they're stronger.
Yeah.
If it starts raining, they become stronger.
But I've seen in previous trailers Deacon actually utilizing the Freakers as a weapon against his enemy as well. So you can actually use them to your advantage as well as the environment itself.
Yeah, absolutely. We call it the Freakosystem. So in this scenario, there's not a lot of chance for that, but if he were fighting Marauders or Rippers,
Right.
then he could find a nearby swarm. It's an open world, so you can just explore. You can find other tools like a swarm or a Freaker bear, and you can bring them into an enemy
Right.
camp and watch the sort of mayhem that happens.
I guess you've got to be careful, though. You don't get kind of sucked into it. Yeah.
I like this gun, you guys. So you have melee combat and you have gun combat. Can you talk about how you designed and balanced for both?
It's like so many different scenarios require the player to determine how they want to play it, right? So that's why we have like this full set of stealth mechanics. We have a full set of weapons that you can upgrade, and in order to do that, you have to go to the human encampment. So there's survivor encampments in the world, the only places in the world where it's safe. And you have to do jobs and missions with them in order to earn trust. And then once you earn trust, the merchants there will sell you things.
Ah, I like that.
And then it's like, and if you want to upgrade your shotgun, or you want to buy a silencer for it, then you have to have enough trust at that encampment in order to do that.
Boozer, you there? I found the part. I'm heading out.
Got the bike part.
Rippers! Rippers! No, ah! Shit!
He's
So
not having a good time.
this is the inside of the Crazy Willie's truck stop, and that's one of the other things we wanted to point out is that it's full open world, but there's a lot of exploration in the game. All of the building interiors are accessible. There's no load times to get in and outside of a building or to go between regions. This is in the Belknap Wilderness, and the whole area is just completely explorable. And then these are the Rippers that I mentioned earlier. So these are one of the cults in the game.
Tats are dead symbols of a dead man. Dead symbols of the lost.
Get off me! Bitches! Biker Man!
You must be brought low, biker man. For you are lost, and we are found.
Oh, yeah, that's going to hurt.
Get low!
So you can see they're not very friendly.
No. You've talked about having freedom in terms of how you approach missions. So you can approach them stealthily. You can go in all guns blazing if you want to. What kind of freedom do you have in terms of the mission structure, in terms of the story? Do you get to make story choices in the game, or is it like sort of like a linear narrative path you're going to be taking?
Yeah, there's several key places where you have to choose what Deacon is going to do in a key situation. So we released a bunch of footage last month, and if you watch carefully, you'll see that there's a moment where Deacon has the choice to take a man's life or to force Boozer to do it.
Right.
And that will have an impact on Boozer's morale. So your best friend, how he feels about you, how he feels about the world, that's kind of up to you as the player.
Awesome.
Did you just die?
Yeah, he
Hey, we
died.
just wanted to prove that that was our scripted.
You're keeping
die.
it real? Is that really what just happened?
We wanted to prove that it was real. That was.
And you will die in this game.
Yes, you will die lots.
All right, so you tried doing sort of a stealthy approach, and now you're just going to go in with a shotgun and blow him away.
Ooh, get that headshot.
Or baseball bat, that works.
Yeah.
Can you tell us anything about what has happened in the world? You know, why are we in this post-apocalyptic situation? Like, are you able to reveal like kind of what has happened, what has led to this transition?
Yeah, it's one of those things that we really want the player to sort of learn as they go. So there are answers,
Right.
but you have to explore. There's a, we've introduced this group called NERO, which is our National Emergency Response Organization. They're out in the world. They have these MMUs that you're trying to break into in order to get medical supplies. They're part of the story. And, obviously Deacon has lost somebody. We saw that in a trailer. That's part of the story. And as far as like the pandemic and the hordes that you run into constantly, these all sort of weave together to sort of explain how we got to this place in this world.
Cool.
And we're really excited to have players get into the world and just sort of explore and let us know what they think.
I mean, it's looking fantastic. I can't wait to just get around on the bike. The bike looks like really, really cool. Like, how far can you upgrade the bike? How far does it go? Like,
I couldn't hear it, sorry.
How far can you upgrade the bike? How many parts do you think there are?
There's at least 20 categories of things you can upgrade.
Nice.
They're all functional, plus all kinds of ways to tweak it visually, from a paint job to a custom skin theme, and all kinds of just visual, actual hardware upgrades, but a ton. You can really make it your own.
Awesome. Well, John, Jeff, Chris, thank you so much for your time. Ramon, is there anything else you want to ask?
Days Gone. We also got a release date.
Yes, it
do.
does.
February 22nd, 2019.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we're really excited.
Yep.
February 22nd. Can't wait. Well, guys, thank you so much for your time. The game is looking absolutely fantastic. We have got a lot more coming up from PlayStation Live at E3. We've got an incredible lineup of games to show you, so please stay with us. We'll be back right soon.
PlayStation